Yo, YouTubers! It's that exciting time again for Bruce to talk. A speech everyone's excited out there. Bruce uses sun-made raisins for good solid stew first thing in the morning. Right, that's me advert out the way. Yeah, everyone! How's it going out there, all my homies out there? How's everybody? I don't know why this camera makes me look like I've got like a rash or something like, but I think it's because I've had the shower. I've had the wash. Oh. Alright, let's get on with it. Right, I'm just doing right before we go any further. Right, speech. I'm casually watching News at 10 on the television whilst. Wow, something all about mushrooms. I don't know what that is like, so I'll have to, while I'm talking, I can't put subtitles on my telly, I don't know how to do it. I very rarely watch actual television, but you know. Anyway, speech. Okay, what are we going to talk about? I don't know. I haven't got any beers, so I'm completely sober, and I don't like it. Don't like being sober anymore. Sober on my own, fed up, miffed, up to here I am. My patience is wearing thin. Anyway, alright. LFC forever. If any of my American subbers are watching, any one of you Americans or Canadians or any other country other than Britain, join us. Join Liverpool Football Club. You will be made welcome, my friends from across the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic, depending on which way you look at it. The Atlantic Ocean. Well, you could be from the other side of the Pacific or the Atlantic, couldn't you? But join us, wear a Liverpool shirt, buy a t-shirt, get a beanie, get a scarf, get a Bill Shankly picture on your wall in your living room. Join us. Alright, today's speech. I'm just drinking boring old tea and eating raisins. Now here's my disclaimer. If the noise of the fan on this computer is a bit loud, and I know people actually complain on YouTube, they say like, had to turn off after 4 seconds because of the noise of the fan or the air conditioning or whatever it is, you know what I mean? There's some weirdos on YouTube, isn't there? And they're like, or if you do that, no, chewing gum. I forgot to take my chewing gum out, like. Anyway, today's speech, right? Where do I start? The subject of this speech is: am I on the autistic spectrum, or do I have Aspergers syndrome, right? And well, go on YouTube, man, right? Check out YouTube speeches from countless amounts of people, right, who seem to be emerging from nowhere, all saying they've been diagnosed as either being autistic or having Asperger's syndrome. and they've like, some of them are in the 40s and the 30s or whatever, some of them are in the 20s. But this is such an elusive condition, right? But obviously people don't even notice they've got it, right? And parents don't notice the kids have got it, right? And school teachers, horrible. I mean, like the school teachers from my school when I was a kid. You know, not essentially middle school. I'll talk about that in a minute anyway. But I think I've always had Aspergers, right, and I never knew it, like, right, and I've only found out a couple of years back, right, and I've already mentioned it. I was in the Isle of Man with my sister watching the TT racing for the very first time, right, and we were talking about, you know, it was the very first time I'd seen the bikes. I wasn't really into motorcycle racing or nothing like that, but she told me to go because of the festival atmosphere and all that business, right, and I decided, you know, so I check out some of the riders and the characters and that kind of stuff, you know, it's like you do, you know, you're going somewhere for the first time. But I always remember being in the Isle of Man with her and watching these bikes going past for the first time, and I'm like, you know, wow, it's on YouTube actually, my first reaction of watching TT bikes go past, right, nearly 200 mile an hour, like, you know. And as we were walking away from that video, what's on YouTube, where we're watching, it's the first time I'm seeing the bike, when we were walking away from it, like, the conversation, we started talking, you know, I mentioned Guy Martin to Julie, you know, well, Julie's my sister, by the way, right. I started talking about Guy Martin, thinking, wow, so he would have been there going past, because you can't see, you can't, like, make out the bikes or the colours unless you're familiar with them, or you've got the programs and that, you know. It was only the practices as well, they were only practicing, they weren't actually racing, like, but they were flying past like jet planes or something like that. So I'm still sort of in that stage of fascination, thinking. Now remember, I'm an undiagnosed, I still haven't been diagnosed, right. I'm going to go through, like, I'm going to give you like some of the, you know, like people say the traits of this and the traits of that, like, I'll talk about it in detail, right. And I'll ask your opinion, do you think I want Asperger's people out there, or people on the spectrum, right, to honestly tell me what you really, analyse me videos, analyse the way I'm obsessed with playing guitar and things like that, but I don't even make money at it. I don't really care about money and things like that. I mean, I put out, like, since I was 16, learning how to play electric guitar or whatever, and master writing and things like that kind of stuff, but I've never been interested in money. I always felt like, you know, but that's not, you know, that's just one of the things. I'm more into doing art than making money off it, if you know what I mean. I'm not really interested in making a living. I'd rather work in Tesco's stacking shelves. That's an Asperger's thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, I can't, like, I'll go into it in a bit more detail anyway. But anyway, my sister, we were walking away from the first time I'd seen the TT bikes go past, and I was like saying something like, I take it Guy Martin was in amongst those riders there as well, like, and John McGuinness or whatever, like. And my sister says to me, like, she said it like, it was as though she's always suspected it, if you know what I mean, and like, you know, people don't want to say things to you in case you take it wrong, right. So say like years before all that, and I knew about, say, you know, because everyone's got this thing about Guy Martin, right, he's a full-blown Asperger's, isn't he, right. Another one is Chris Peckham, you know, the guy that does the wildlife programmes with the bleached hair. Well, it's Packham or Peckham. Chris Peckham, right? Sound fella, you know, one of the few people on BBC television that's actually a decent bloke, if you know what I mean. But he's obsessed with wildlife, isn't he? And he knows his stuff. He can talk for hours, like I'm doing right now. Like I've done countless times on YouTube. Sit there with a camera on me, talking like a bellend, like, without being bothered about anyone watching it. Like, say people know in the streets, people could see me in the supermarket and go like, you know, there's that knobhead who talks on YouTube. Do you know what I mean? You can talk for hours, can't you? Like about anything, basically, right? Without any amphetamine, without any cocaine, without any enhancements, without any creatine. Right. But anyway, my sister says to me, I mentioned, this is the first I've ever heard of the word Asperger's, you see, folks. This is to put about, I don't know, we're talking about 3-4 years ago, right? Whatever date that clip is, my first TT experience, is if you go back through my stuff and, you know, it's like going through a treasure trove, isn't it? Going through someone's YouTube channel over like old uploads, like. But anyway, when she casually mentions it, she says like, do you know, and she says it like to say like, I don't know if Bruce might be offended, you know, he might like not like the word Asperger's or whatever, like. She said, do you know, Guy Martin's got Asperger's syndrome, you know. And I was like, what is that? You know, I didn't know, I wouldn't have known Aspergers from a banana. Do you understand? I'd never even heard of the word, like, really, like. So I was like, what's that all about? And I'd seen him being interviewed, and I knew he was a bit mad or a bit weird, right? I don't mean anything derogative or bad, you know, but like, he's a strange character, isn't he? He's quite funny, he's quite witty and very, I don't know, he's very talkative, isn't he? He can waffle about engines and things like for days, can't he, right? But anyway, she says that to me, she says, do you know Guy Martin's got Asperger's? And I was like, I don't even know what that is, but I'll look into it, like, because, and I was thinking of some kind of like, I don't know, like a vertigo kind of condition, or like, you know, you can't use a parachute or something, I don't know. Thinking, what's that all about, like, I don't know. Then as it unfolded and I started seeing things about it, like, and especially looking at the character, right, the character of Guy Martin, right, which is like, it's kind of like, do now, think later, isn't it? This is one of an Asperger's kind of trait, really. Do now, think later. You don't actually, like normal people, when I say normal, I mean people who have not got Asperger's or on the autistic spectrum, right? I've gone all my life knowing there was something wrong with me, but knowing I wasn't, like, you know, seriously bad, right? It's all my life, man. Knowing I had some kind of condition, right? But anyway, I looked into Guy Martin's character and started realising what that condition was. That it, like, you know, the brain is wired differently, or whatever. You know, and your obsession with like two or like one particular subject, you get obsessed with it, or you know, you eating the same food every day of the week for like a year or something, like, and then you decide, I think I'll have pizzas now, and then, like, you know, 3 months later you go, I think I'll stop having pizzas, I think I'll have omelettes. You just, you know, there's like little things, right? Now, my own, I actually went to a doctor when I actually seen, looked into it, like, and I saw Guy Martin talk, and I remember Guy Martin rides a TT motorcycle around the Isle of Man at nearly 200 mile an hour, right? We're not talking about like some kind of mental deficiency, are we? You know what I mean? We were talking like a lack of thinking like ordinary people think. Do you know what I mean? It's just the brain is wired differently, right? And I'm going to go through a list of strange things that, like, over the years that make me think, like, I must have Asperger's. It's not essentially autism, because, you know, I'm quite calm and quite normal to a degree. But there's always been something in my head that was like, it was mistaken as me being stubborn or arrogant or self-opinionated or full of myself. You know, that's what you nearly everyone who's got that thing, they get like the funny thing is, my sister might have it too, you see, and she never knew, right? She was never diagnosed because she was a bit off her head when she was younger, right? Me mum, R.I.P. me ma, God bless her, she might have had it, and in hindsight, when I reflected on it all years later, I was like, wow, my mum had it like she was off her head. She was kind of very sort of stuck in her ways and didn't want to change for nothing. No matter how hard you tried to persuade her, like, she just wouldn't give. Do you understand? And it's one of the traits, isn't it? It's like you're like a stick in the mud. You just don't want to change your opinions about things, or if someone tries to force your opinion, definitely not. Like, by the way, if this fan is making can hear it, like, if it's making a lot of noise on the microphone, guys, I apologise, but if you don't like it, you know, well, bugger off. Nah, I'm only joking. Right, anyway, some of the things, right, that are in years later, right, now, a few years ago, well, say about 3 years ago, I went to the doctor with all this in my mind. I was thinking, wow, I think I've got Asperger's, man, but, like, why didn't anyone tell me, like, you know, how come I didn't notice? Why didn't, like, you know, our parents notice? Why didn't our school teachers notice it, like, by certain behaviour patterns that we have, right? And they just didn't know, did they? It's all like, now you look at YouTube, man, you see all these people in the 40s, 30s, 50s, 60s, all saying things like, you know, you watch a video about someone talking about their autism or their Asperger's, and then you scroll down the comments and it's like, I got diagnosed yesterday, or I've been diagnosed last week after 55 years or whatever. They're all coming out like with this, like, dude, there seems to be a whole planet of us, like, from what I can gather, like, we've all had this thing, right, this rewiring of the brain that doesn't add up, like. Alright, now, I'll go back to certain things when I was a kid, right, I'll say, now, hold on, before I go any further, I approached my doctor, I went to my doctor for my usual thing, which is my mental condition after having a breakdown and stuff, right. You know, I've already had a mental illness, right, that's add nothing to that. I did quite a lot of LSD when I was younger, right, folks, and that turned me into a kind of Peter Green, kind of Sid Barrett kind of state of mind as well, like, I had to deal with, right. I've literally been like Peter Green combined with Sid Barrett. But you got to think about the LSD that those guys were taking was in droplets, and it's not calculated, if you know what I mean. You know, the sugar cubes and things, people must have been dropping drops of LSD into each other's drinks and stuff. And you can't trace it, can you? You don't know how much you've taken, like. Right, whereas I just had those what we call blotters, you know, tablets. I've never had the bottles, and thank goodness I never got my hands on a bottle of LSD. I would never have come back. Do you know what I mean? I would never have come back, like. Because it was like controlled, these what we call blotters, like, they caught up on me eventually. I did quite a lot of them, and as time passed by, man, I had to deal with that separately, right? I had my nervous breakdown when I was in college, was another state of mind completely, another mental illness, right? This all happened, my nervous breakdown and my LSD flashbacks all happened at the same time, you know what I mean? It all you know, I became Sid Barrett, Peter Green. If anyone doesn't know who Peter Green is, by the way, he was the guitarist of Fleetwood Mac. He flipped out for a while, he went like recluse. Sid Barrett, you should know who he is. Strange thing is, right, the first time someone mentioned Sid Barrett to me, it was about 1992, 91. They said to me, you're not turning into a Sid Barrett, are you, Bruce? You know what I mean? And I went on the phone, I went, who's Sid Barrett? I didn't even know who he was. I hadn't even heard of him, like. And I was like, I don't know, 30 something at the time, like. That's how, like, blinkered my mind is, right. So anyway, years have passed. I've had mental illness. I've been on stelazine tablets and antidepressants and things, right. Antipsychotics. Paranoid psychosis was what was triggered by my acid intake, right. Acid! Right, and then going to see the doctor over other things to get me, you know, me medication. I said to him, no, after me thinking about this Asperger's thing, right, which is a long-term thing, this is like, it's been with me all my life, right. Obviously I wasn't taking acid when I was a kid, and I didn't have a nervous breakdown, but I always thought I was off my head, right. I thought I was mad, right. And I said this to the doctor. I went, listen, doctor, I've been like hearing about like Asperger's and then, you know, the spectrum and things like that, and I think I might have it. I might have always had it, like. And because I'm 50 something, I'm 55 now, right. I was about 52 at the time when I said it to him. He just looked at me and said, that wouldn't really matter now, would it? Like, you know, is it to say, oh, don't go there, you know, because I think they think you're trying to claim extra money or something, or, you know, when you go for job interviews or something, you're going to use it in your arguments or something. It's like, I can't do this, I can't do that, I've got Asperger's, you know what I mean? To get out of stuff, like, well, it's not like that at all, you know. I mean, I work as hard as I can every time I work, like, and I don't mind doing it, but something always cracks me up, you see. And the Asperger's has got to be a part of it. Something always gets to me in a workplace, right? But anyway, some of these, like, the doctor laughed it off. He basically said, don't go there, Bruce, you don't, why, you know, you're already on the sick, what does it matter, like, I think that's what he was trying to say. I was like, yeah, but if I think I've got this condition and I've always had it, like, I'm on the spectrum kind of thing. you know, I should be entitled to be treated as such, shouldn't I? But anyway, we'll jump to the nitty gritty. Like when I was a child, when I was a kid, right, obsessed with art, right. I was always drawing pictures, always like copying things, sketching things, making things up as well. I used to make things up a lot, you know. When I drew pictures, I tended to invent things. I was a kind of, even in my childhood, I was a kind of surrealist. I used to draw the craziest images and like try and create holograms on pieces of paper, basically. And I do the usual stuff like copy pictures of Mickey Mouse or badly drawn Elvis Presley's, or I don't know, you know, you just copy something and it looks dead. I've got a funny picture in my stuff from school, actually. I can produce sometime later when I do another art study thing, like. Because I don't do things by the book as well, right? Another sign of Asperger's is when someone tells you to do things textbook, right? Woodwork in school, I was terrible at woodwork because you've got to do it the way they tell you, haven't they? You know, metalwork, using lathes, anything to do with where you've got to calculate and you've got to do it exactly as it is in the, you know, in the instructions, or it won't be perfect. Well, that's me to a T. I always do things imperfectly, like, not because I can't do it perfectly. There's just something inside me that says, no, I'm not going to do it like everyone else in the classroom. You know, all the kids would make like I always remember making a G-clamp out of metal, you know, in metalwork, and it looked crap, you know what I mean? And the teacher was like, and I was like, I just looked at the teacher and went, does it clamp or not? Like, you know, it works, doesn't it? When you turn the thing, it clamps, doesn't it? And it does what it's supposed to do. And he's like, yeah, it's working, Bruce. It's a G clamp, but it doesn't like look like you know, what other kids had made and what was in the glass case and that, like, you know. As long as it worked as a G clamp, that's all that mattered to me. And I cut corners. I wouldn't read the instructions properly. You get me right? Now, I did that with everything. When I learned to play the guitar, I didn't want to learn by it. I didn't want a teacher telling me how to do things properly. I started playing with my thumb. You know, I was using my thumb, like, strumming one string at a time with the guitar on my lap. You know, I didn't even do that properly, you know what I mean? It took me ages to start playing a guitar like that. And tuning it properly as well, you know, like proper tuning, like. But when I was a kid, there was a couple of issues like that I thought, like, I must have had Asperger's, because who else would do something as stupid as this or as stupid as that? It's not essentially a bad thing, but it's like, it's not normal, right? Okay, one thing I've always noticed when I was younger is that I couldn't eat vegetables. Right, my mum could eat vegetables, my dad could eat vegetables, my brother could eat vegetables from time to time, I don't know. Everyone in the house, you know, I think everyone in the house had a normal appetite, really, and I just couldn't. I'd like when my mum did my Sunday dinner, to be like chicken or meat or whatever it was with just like a couple of potatoes, because my mum would basically say, you can't just have a plate just full of meat for your dinner, Bruce, you could have vegetables as well. And I'd be like, I didn't even like spuds, I didn't even like potatoes unless they were made into chips. I loved fish fingers. I was obsessed with fish fingers when I was a kid, but they were seen as a luxury, you know, in a house with 4 kids and your mum and dad. It was like, you get like 2 on your plate, or, you know what I mean, if you were lucky someone else would leave theirs, and I'd be like, whoa, I love fish fingers, right? But I'm really big on fish, you know, like cuisine, like. Right, but in school, right, this is where my problems, like, where I was clever. I was good at English. I loved reading and writing, you know, poetry and stories and that, right? My spelling was good. But I just couldn't, in mathematics, I couldn't get round percentages and fractions. I could do it if I pushed myself, right? I found out I could do it when I pushed myself, but I had a hard time in school. Sometimes I'd sit in the classroom, right, and all the other kids were like, that putting the answers down, and I'd just be staring at the blank page thinking, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to approach it. But that's my first personal innate sign, right, that I could have had Asperger's, because I could do long division, multiplication, subtraction, other mathematical. I was good at equations, of all things, equations, you know what I mean, right? When it came down to like saying like, what is 45% of £120? I mean, I actually know how to work. I know what's the word? I know the calculus or the equation or the what's it called, man? The formula. I know the formula to do it, but my brain won't accept it, man. Right? And in particular, I remember one day in middle school. This was middle school, right? And I was okay in maths and English. I was quite high up in the classes, like, but the ones in the classroom, the girls and the lads who were actually just like always top of the class, and like their exams were amazing as well. I just used to sit there and think, I can draw, I can paint, I can do all these things. Why can't I get my head round these problems in this mathematics lesson like the other kids, the ones who were clever, like? And I knew it wasn't a spaz or a mongoloid or sometimes, right, I thought I was that mad, right? They film the series Quantum Leap, and every time he goes somewhere and he looks in the mirror, he's different. You ever see the one where he's a Down syndrome kid? Sometimes I used to expect to look in the mirror and see a Down syndrome kid in the mirror, you know what I mean? Because it was so off my head. I was always trying to make people laugh. I was always doing crazy things and impersonations, and I was a bit off my head, like a bit mad. And I was always doing something. I was always out. My mum couldn't get me in. I'd stay out till like midnight. All the other kids were in bed at like 7:30 to go to school, and I just couldn't do it. I had to like full on until it was time to go. I had to go to bed because they were going to bed, do you know what I mean? Right. But I always remember being in mathematics, and the teacher saying to me, well, to the whole class, if anyone has any problems, just come out to the front and I'll go through it with you. Alright. And I was sitting there with like my blank page doing a percentage. It was either a percentage or a complicated fraction. I could do fractions in general, but certain problems had done me head in, right? Especially percentages. I don't know what it was. I still can't work it out, like, I mean. But I was sitting there in the classroom, right, and I had my blank page on the book, and I was like, and I felt like a dickhead, pardon me French, I felt like an idiot, saying to the teacher, I can't get my head around this, sir. So he goes, come here, come to the front, I'll show you. So I'm standing next to his desk, right, and he's going through it bit by bit for me, one to one, especially for me, like. I feel like a divvy. All the other kids are getting on with theirs dead quick. So think about it, I was intelligent, I was intellectual, I was kind of clever, you know what I mean? I was very arty, like. But I just could not get my head around this, whatever it was, the lesson, right. And he goes, blah, 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 and he tells me everything clearly and concisely, right. As clear as a bell, because he was doing it one to one instead of the whole class. And I just looked at what he said, and he went, so do you see what I mean, Bruce? Now do you get it? And I went, no, I don't. I was like, I don't know what you just done there to get to that bit there, I couldn't explain it to him. I was like, all that time I was Aspergers, you know what I mean? Right. And he started losing his temper with me, you get me? He goes, Bruce, he didn't even, like, I was like thinking, no, back in the 70s, didn't anyone know what Asperger's was or something? Didn't it exist or something, like, in people's heads? Right, he should have known, these teachers should have known, shouldn't they? If there's like, they know I'm not stupid, I'm not daft or thick. Right. Well, he goes, and it looked like he was getting pissed off with me, you know what I mean? He goes, look, I'll do it again for you, right? So he started the whole thing again, and I was looking at the page, watching him like focusing on every single word he said. I was like staring, listening, and And he gets to the end again and he goes like, so well, so there you go, and there's your answer. You see, Bruce, now do you see? I was like, no, I can't see what you did there, like 3 steps back or whatever. I don't know what you're doing. Like, but because he was getting mad at me, I went, oh yeah, I know what you mean now, sir. Yeah, I didn't want to admit I didn't get it. Like, did you get me? Like, so I had to sit down with my book and pretend I was working. Then at the end of the day, he's sitting there putting crosses next to every answer, going like, what's wrong with Bruce, man? Why didn't you just tell me, like? But that was my first encounter with what I suspected as being Asperger's, like, because it wasn't stupid enough, like. I mean, they did loads of other lessons, amazing, whatever they did, you know what I mean? But it's just, I've got this thing, because you think about it, man, only someone who's like, say you're a drug dealer, everything's percentages, isn't it, and fractions, you know what I mean? And I don't think like that, you know what I'm saying? Say I was like, you know, like, it's pure, it's got to be pure, like pure alcohol, pure beer, no, 3%, 2%, 5%, everything broken down in percentages to me seems like it's against the law, you know what I mean? And you should be able to, what you should do is water it down yourself, if you know what I mean. That's the way I look at it, like. Sorry, just watching the news, like. But it's another one, another classic where I think I had Asperger's, right? The headmaster was, this was still in middle school. I was still quite clever. I was playing football. I was the goalkeeper for the school team. I was contributing to the footy. I played cricket. I was actually in the cricket team. I played tennis. I played chip and puck golf. I went to a boxing club for a while. I did all kinds of sport billy stuff. And I was still trying to be academic. But I always thought to myself, football was going to be my escape, you see, guys. This is what the reason I didn't give a crap in school is because I was quite a good goalkeeper. And that was my work in the future. That's the way I did it. That's how I escaped everything in my head. Mathematics, English, everything can go down the toilets because I'm going to be playing in goal for Liverpool. I'm going to be Liverpool's goalkeeper. I was going to be the next Ray Clemence, right? And I even met Ray Clemence once, and that's a story in itself. You know what I mean? Like, so like the Baton, like, so like I am the Clem of the future, Ray Clemence of the future, like. So I thought I didn't need education, right? Once I'd resided, and people were saying, "Wow, you're a good goalkeeper, man," you know. And I got player of the year once in a tournament, in a 5-a-side tournament. How many goalkeepers do you know in a 5-a-side tournament get player of the year, man? You know what I mean? I must have been good, mustn't I? But that was it, like, I was going to be the goalkeeper for Liverpool. But me secondary school let me down, didn't he? And didn't select me for the team, right? So I've got these grievances, you know, the basketball diaries, sort of fantasy of going in with a machine gun and shooting all the teachers because they didn't let me play football properly. Like, after all that, you know, after rejecting education and not seeing myself as an academic, right? Didn't want to go to university, right? Another thing I never used to do was homework, revision. You know, when it was an exam, I never revised, right? My home time, my time at home when I went home after school was my home time, and there's not a thing on earth they could do to make me like sit in my living room, do me homework and revising properly, because I felt like that was another Asperger's thing in my head. I used to think school is school, and in the living room or in my bedroom, I am at home. I'm not doing nothing to do with education, and I'm going to be the goalkeeper of Liverpool, so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? That was my Asperger's frame of mind. Like, but here's another circumstance. I was in middle school, and we were having this lesson, and the actual headmaster was teaching us, right? Now this has to be an Asperger's, right? You got to, like, one of the traits of Asperger's, do now, think later. Do you understand what I'm saying? You just do things that you don't like. You get your pocket. When I was a kid, I got pocket money off my mum and dad. Like, I had like I can't remember what it was, about 75 pence in the 70s, which was a lot of money back then. You know what I went and did? I bought a money box with all the money, and I had no money to put in it. You know what I mean? I sat there like looking at this thing, looking at this money box, and I couldn't even put any money in it, like, because I just spent all my money on it. Like, that's a do now, think later circumstance. That's a typical Aspergers thing. You just see something in a shop. It could be the crappiest thing you've ever seen in your life, and you just go and you hand your money over for it, and you don't even want it. I've done it loads of times. I bought loads of stupid things I didn't even fit out. You know, as I got older, I was getting over it, like, working it out, like, trying to stop myself buying stupid things, like. But that was one, you know, paying all my money. Mum and Dad would say, like, you got your money box there, Bruce. And I was asking for, I was like, can you give me some more money to put in my money box? And like, you've had your pocket money. Well, you know what I mean? What are you doing buying a money box for? You got on to put in there. Right, that's do now, think later, right? Well, I was in school, and the headmaster was teaching us. He was actually the headmaster, right? And he had this notice board behind him, and he was about to draw pictures for us, you know, like a one of them charts, you know, them big paper things they draw pictures on and that, like. And he goes, "Oh no, I forgot the pens. And he goes, "Bruce, will you go on a message for me?" I was like, "Yes, sir." You know, like, "Yes, sir." You know, being goody two shoes for the headmaster, right? He goes, "Will you go down to my office?" He trusted me. He knew he wasn't going to, you know, like some kids, he wouldn't let go into his office on their own and that, right? But he did it a couple of times. He asked me to go on little messages to pick things up from his room, you know what I mean? And he goes, "There's this thing on my desk." He said, "You'll see it. It's like a thing, and it looks like a load of pens sticking up in like an inkwell. It's on my desk in my office. Will you pick that up and bring it back, Bruce?" "Yeah." So I went, "Yeah, okay." And I ran down the stairs, ran through the playground, and I went into his office all on my own, you know what I mean? There's no one else there, like. And I see this thing, you know, this thing on the desk, what he's talking about, like, right. And it was like, it looked like this, actually. It looked like a tub like that, with, if you imagine handles sticking out, you know, like, that look a bit like paintbrushes, right? So I was like, "Wow, that's weird. What's that like?" You know what I mean? Dead curious, like, you know. And I sort of walked slow, because I wanted to look at, wow, I wonder what this is like. You know, I'm not in any hurry to get back to the classroom. I'll take my time. Aspergers, do now, think later. Right. And then I realised they were like gem markers, you know, like, you know what they call marquees in America, or what they called? What's that word they use in America for? They're like felt tip pens, but they're really thick, and you can write your name dead thick if you're a vandal, right? And in it, there was just like, one of them was like, it was like a pot of ink, and you pull the things out. They were like little miniature paintbrushes, but they were like gem markers, and then you drew your picture or you wrote your message on the board or whatever, right? I've never seen it anywhere else before. It was just like a teacher's thing, right? So anyway, it goes like that, like, I go, wow. You could, like, and I went like on a little lamppost or something. I went, drew like a little bit, and went, wow, and it was like dead thick writing, you know. You could, like, you know, like a normal gem marker would be like quite thin, but I was like, wow. So I got to this wooden door, like, there's this like wooden door in the playground kind of area, on the way into the door back up to where I was going to go back up to my classroom, right? And I stopped at this wooden door, right? There's no writing on that door or nothing. No one's vandalised it or anything, right? And this is in school, remember, right? And it takes out the thickest thing out the tub, this handle thing, and I went, LFC. Right, now LFC is that, you know, Liverpool Football Club, say Liverpool Football Club. But when you were kids and you lived in Merseyside, or on the Wirral, or in Liverpool, if you were an Everton fan, you'd put EFC. If you were a Man United fan, MUFC, right? I wrote in big black letters like this. It was about that big, like, it was like that, like I'd say an area like that, I just said LFC. C. Right, and I'm thinking, I won't write my name, obviously. Right. And then it goes into the class. I just ran upstairs. I was like, do now, think later, innit, right? The big gem marker thing, right? You couldn't buy them in the shops. Only the teachers had them, you know what I mean? So it goes up to the classroom and it goes up to the teacher and to the headmaster. I go, here you go, sir, there's your thingy there, like. He goes, okay, Bruce, thank you. Puts it on his desk, and I'm thinking nothing of it, you know what I mean? then he goes, oh no, I just remembered I need something else. I've got to go back to the room. And he looks at me and he goes, oh, I won't ask you to go again, Bruce, I'll go myself, alright? So he leaves the classroom empty and we're all sitting there talking to each other, like, you know what I mean? And he gets off, like, and he comes back about 5 minutes later with whatever it was he went to get. And he just stops the class. He goes, Bruce, he goes, what were you thinking? I was like, what do you mean, sir? And he goes, I go past the door outside earlier on the way here to start this lesson, and it's completely blank. And then I send you to my office to get these pens. And then I go downstairs now, and it's got LFC in big giant black letters on the door. Like, he said, did you think you'd possibly get away with that, like? And I was like, when he told me, you know, when he actually said it to me, I didn't even like realise how pathetic it was for me. I was like, how could it be so stupid? Do you know what I mean? I was sitting there like guilty as charged. I was a vandal and wrote LFC. And he's just seen it in 5 seconds and recognised it wasn't there a little bit earlier, you know what I mean? Plus, I'd just come back with them pens that you could only get off the teachers, you know, they weren't like, the thick writing was like LFC. It's like almost like a paintbrush in big black letters, vandalised on the door, like. And all the kids are all looking at me going, oh. I'm sitting there thinking, why would it do that? Why would it be so obvious? You know, and in my opinion that is another Asperger's trait, isn't it? It's like, who on earth would think about it? Like, it's like robbing a bank, isn't it? Like, you know, you rob your local bank and then you're walking around the shop spending thousands the day after on CCTV, like, isn't it? But other people might see that, if you haven't got like Asperger's or you're normal, other people might see that as being a bit stupid, wouldn't they? You know what I mean? And think like, oh no, it's a bit stupid that, Bruce, because like there's no other kids went past the door obviously during that lesson. It was all, you know, it was all lesson time, there was no kids in the playground. So it was just blatantly obvious that I'd just done it, like. But he actually thought it was so absurd, he was laughing at me, like, he was like he actually let me off because he found it so funny, like, you know, I'd normally got the cane or been on detention, like, right? And he's looking at me like that, going, whatever made you think, Bruce, that you could get away with that, like? And I was looking at him thinking, I don't actually know. I don't know. I can't answer that, like. And I think that is proof definitely of Asperger's, isn't it, right? You know, he's guilty as charged. It wasn't for him being a sound headmaster, he'd have battered me. Because he was quite ruthless with naughty kids, you know what I mean? Liverpool Football Club, and he knew I was obsessed with Liverpool at the time, you know what I mean? Right. Okay, another reason, oh yeah, cycling down a hill in Wales on a push bike, 30 mile an hour, right, with one hand on the handlebars and the other hand holding a video camera. Not thinking about the end of this road, there's a sharp turn, like a really steep hill in Wales. Do you get me? Because I had my camera, I had a video camera on me, and I went, wow, I'll film going down this hill dead fast. Do now, think later, man. Do now, think later. And I was actually going like, I had a mileometer thing on me handlebars saying like 30 mile an hour, doing 30 mile an hour, just freewheeling, you know. It was like, then I seen the no damn signs that tells you there's a sharp turn with the arrows like that, like it's like black and yellow or whatever, like the arrows to say sudden turn in this country lane, like, and I'm heading towards a fence with my camera like that. I hit the fence. The whole bicycle did a somersault. I couldn't, you know, one brake wasn't enough to stop the bike going, like, do you get me? Like, just went right into the fence. The whole bike somersaulted. I ended up in a tree, like hanging in a tree with my video camera like that. And the bike was above me. My mountain bike was actually above me head in the branches above me in the tree. Serious collision, mate. Do now, think later. Because I was thinking in my head, wow, I'll get this really fast footage of going down this hill with my video camera, like. That's another, I mean, this was only a few years ago. That was only like, I've got a video of it afterwards, after I'd done the crash, and I've got a big mark on my neck because I must have gone right through all the branches and everything, like. I got a full forward somersault over a wooden fence into a tree. Now that's another example of like, what was I thinking? I mean, I'm not stupid, I'm not a monk, I'm not, you know what I mean? Right. But when I was a kid, I used to think to myself, am I some kind of monk or something that no one's told me? You know, I did actually think about it, right? Alright, another thing, like, right, like, things that, you know, like, things that other people would see as sexually immoral, right? Like striptease, you know, strippers or stuff like that, you know. Say if I was sitting in a pub and some fit bird was dancing around naked and she put her boobs in me face or whatever, like, I wouldn't see that as anything disturbing whatsoever. Like, maybe not telling my girlfriend was wrong at the time these things happened, like, yeah, but you know, whilst it's all going on with your friends in work and you're watching, like, you know, women were walking around the pub dancing naked, like, I don't see that as immoral. I see like having affairs behind your partner's back immoral. I see like seducing other people's partners as immoral and things like that, right? But there's certain elements of like what people would call sexual immorality that I think are quite funny, quite witty, right? I won't go into detail about it at the moment because I'm saving it for another speech, right? But it's something quite controversial that I did in my artwork that I wanted to, well, you know, I won't go there, but Guy Martin is a classic example, right? Guy Martin, he was renowned for going into his caravan and masturbating, you know, with like lads mags, centerfolds or whatever, rather than going round with loads of groupies, if you know what I mean, like chicks or whatever. Like, he had this seclusion zone of his, like, his caravan and that. Now, I won't go too into detail at the moment, obviously, but little issues like that, you know, where, but not because I'm a Bible reader or believe in God, right? Other Christians might find me, like, you know, they go, I don't think that's right and all that, and I don't see the, I think people doing things voluntarily for fun or frolicking, I find it quite humorous. That's another Asperger's trait, right? Right. Oh man, there was something else I wanted to talk about, something very important. Hold on, let me think. Yeah, anyway, I did this famous picture that I was going to do a paper, well, not famous, you know, like, I showed it to a couple of my relatives and my ex-girlfriend and things like that, and they were really shocked by it, like, you know what I mean? And it was just a picture called Hitler caught by his mother, you know, like a sketch of Adolf Hitler caught by his mother doing something in his bedroom, right? And I thought it was hilarious. I was going to do a painting of it. I was going to do it like a classical painting, right? And I did a test run and I did this, like, see what other people think. And that, like, I showed it to me dad. He was like, I don't think that's funny at all. Because my dad didn't have Asperger's, you know what I mean? I think my mum did, you know what I mean? So my dad didn't see me humour and stuff. My ex-girlfriend, I showed the picture to her, like, I was like, what do you think of my latest picture, my idea for the painting, like? Hitler caught by his mother, like. And she was like, didn't think that's funny at all. And I was thinking, like, are they all Nazis or something? Like, what's going on here? Like, why aren't they laughing at it? Like, right. But here's the other classic example, right? One of my Aspergers signs. Sorry, I just knocked my computer there in case anyone's wondering. When I was a kid, right? When I was a kid. Sorry, when I was a little boy, right? I used to tell these wacky lies, right? And and you know the way the Bible says you're not supposed to lie, right? Well, I know a lot of zealots and believers out, you know, the ones who are not, they haven't got their heads right. The zealots, you know, they've read a Bible, they've been to a church, or they've been going to church for years or whatever. But the zealots, they don't actually know everything. They don't know it. They don't know the Bible properly. They're just zealots, right? And say you say something like, I can't come out with you. I can't come shopping with you. You don't see your girlfriend. I can't come shopping with you today because my mum wants me to help her decorate. And then you go to your mate's place and you go and play football with all your mates, right? You know, you told your girlfriend you can't go shopping with her because you're going to help your mum decorate, right? But really, you're just playing football with your friends, and you didn't want her to know. Now, those kinds of lies are not really, they're not the kinds of lies, right, guys, in the Bible that say, like, someone can go, liar, idolater, adulterer, or whatever. People tell certain lies, right, and they're not even harmful, or you're not doing nothing wrong. You're just saving an argument, aren't you? You're just not saying something so that you don't argue with someone about something, right? Now, I used to tell these wacky lies when I was a kid, right? And honestly, right, people used to think I was a bit mad, right? Other kids used to go, oh man, you know when they argue with you, when you say something mad. I won't go, I don't know what to say, like. I used to tell these mad lies, right? And the reason I did it, right, was like, the kid who I was talking to, right, if he was sound, if he was my friend, if he was like a trustworthy friend, right, months down the line, that lie would not re-emerge and I wouldn't be questioned or put on the spot, right? It was my way of testing that they were like real friends, right? Now, if I told a silly little lie, like, say, I'm sitting there, right, with my friends in school, like, I'm talking one of me, your so-called friends who you hang around with, the ones who say, yeah, we're brothers and that, like, right, you say something like, I've got Liverpool's new tracksuit there, like, and they go, wow, have you? Wow, let's see it, like, man, wear it next week and that, like, and you don't wear it next week or something, right, and then, like, a couple of weeks later in the playground, your friend is standing next to someone else, another friend he's just found, and they both start going like, yeah, like, some people have got Liverpool tracksuits, haven't they, like, and some haven't. Do you know what I mean? And it was my way of like, the truth emerging, like, amongst them and seeing what they were really made of, because I'd think to myself, what does it matter to them if I've got a Liverpool tracksuit or not, and I'm just saying it, like, I mean, where's the harm in that lie? Say it was like I was in the biblical days and like John the Baptist was standing in front of me and he went, you liar with your Liverpool tracksuit, crucify him. Like go mad at me because I haven't got a Liverpool. Not like stupid little things like that, because when you're kids, sometimes you have to lie about things to feel part of a crowd, don't you? Sometimes you say things like, well, one of the funniest things was, we'd say something like, say like someone had watched a film and one of the other lads hadn't actually seen it, but they said they'd seen it, and you'd get like 3 or 4 lads in the classroom to agree about mention the bit in the film, like where, like, let's say something about this man falling off a mountain, like, and then we're all sitting in a room together and they go, the bit when the man fell off the mountain was funny, wasn't it, like, and you go like, yeah, it was good, that, like, and then everyone goes, there wasn't a man fell off a mountain, so you never seen that film, and you sort of like sit in the corner like that, like, as if to go, ah, they got me. So I mean, all you did wrong was not watch the film that they're talking about or something. Do you get me, right? So I used to pull out these lies, right? These like, just honestly, man, I just when I think about them, I can't believe that these people took it seriously enough, right? I won't mention any of them at the moment, like, except one of them in particular, like. But if anyone's got Aspergers out there, right, or autism, I'm sure they'll relate to what I'm saying. It was just my way of finding if they were true. You know what I mean? If people were true, like, you know, I tell them like, my dad had a fight with Muhammad Ali and knocked him out, like, you know what I mean? And we go like, yeah, right. So I go, honest man, my dad battered Muhammad Ali last week, man. And then a couple of weeks later down the line, you're in the playground and he's with another friend going, yeah, like when your dad, man, punched Muhammad Ali, it's funny that, isn't it? Yeah, Bruce thinks like his arm man battered Muhammad Ali. And I'd be standing there thinking like, as if that is like worth even being bothered about in the first place, but you're letting it go on you. You're actually, why couldn't you just go? Wouldn't it be easy just to go, I believe you, mate, I actually believe you, your dad battered Muhammad Ali. Sound, if you think your dad battered Muhammad Ali, it'd be easy, wouldn't it? And that's a true friend, isn't it? True friend wouldn't give a shit. They wouldn't, like, you know, and that was one of my little traits when I was younger. I'd tell these crazy little fibs. I call them fibs, right? One of my favourite ones was when I was in school, in secondary school. And you know the record, you know the album Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds? Think about it, guys. We're just talking about a record, or like a, you know, piece of vinyl, put a needle on the record, you go, whoa, listen to this song, man, right? Because back in the day when we were like teenagers, a record was like a luxury, you know what I mean? If you could buy an album, like a record by something, like, you know. And I always remember being in school in the classroom, right? And every Christmas was shit for me. It was all, we were poor. My dad was a gambler, basically. We never had any money because my dad, I'm not having a go at him, you know what I mean? But he would gamble every penny he had. And then he'd gamble my mum's money away, like, and if he could, he'd gamble our pocket money away. If he, you know, if we give him it, like, and say, yeah, right, put on this horse. So we lived in a house whereby certain luxuries just didn't happen, you know what I mean? It never actually happened ever. Like, we were never wealthy. We were never like boosted to the point that when we could go to school, I could just go, yeah, I'm getting a Liverpool tracksuit. And I'm going to get this record as well, like. It just never happened, just never had enough money, right? But sometimes in the classroom, right, I'd spin these little yarns just to see if it came back, right? And one of them was like, we're all sitting there, and like, all the other kids used to get normal things for Christmas, do you know what I mean? It was like they were a little bit more spoilt, or the mums had a bit more money, maybe, I don't know, right? Or the dad wasn't a gambler, right? So they'd sit there and they'd go like, and one day they were all sitting there. This was secondary school, by the way. I was like about 15, something like that. And the lads were going, I'm getting War of the Worlds for Christmas with, you know, with other things like a bicycle and whatever, like, you know, a guitar or whatever, like. And I was like, just joking. I was like, yeah, I'm getting War of the Worlds, like. It was one of me, you know, that was like one of me little yarns, right. Now what they didn't know, right, folks, is like, my brother-in-law at the time, you know, my older sister had a you know, a boyfriend, and he bought every record the day they were released. You know, he like, you know, I listened to Queen and all these bands, and, you know, Deep Purple, Electric Light Orchestra were my favourite band back in those days. I didn't have to buy the records because he had everything by everyone, do you understand? Right, and all I had to do is go there and stick a cassette tape in his machine, and he'd go, yeah, if you want to record it, you can record it. And sometimes he'd lend me the records, right? And I could just play it. And you know what? Aspergers get bored of things really quickly, and you can't, like... you sort of, the novelty wears off dead quick. It's not like other people, right? But he had every record that I could possibly conceive that, you know, in the rock world, the classical rock bands and that. And he bought War of the Worlds, right? You know, Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds, right? With Justin Hayward and Phil Lynott and Judy Covington and all these people on it, right? And so I could go to my brother-in-law's house, or and listen to these records, and to the point that the novelty wore off quite quickly, right? But the kids in the classroom didn't have those records, and they hadn't played them to death. So I just went like, yeah, I'm getting War of the Worlds for Christmas too, like, and they were going, wow, are you? I'm getting it as well, like, right? And I just, why I was doing it? I was wanting to see how long will it take before they start mentioning it, like, in the yard and that, like, me Aspergers litmus test to see if they were loyal friends and that, like. And honestly, man, for weeks on end, mate, it was leading up to Christmas. And then when you had your school holiday for Christmas, and we all came back from school, like, all came back from the holidays, right? And a couple of the lads were in the classroom, and it was usually the art room where we all used to talk to each other, we could speak a bit openly, like. We're all drawing our pictures, like, and it was like, I was like, wait for it. It was like, I've been listening to me War of the Worlds album, have you? And the other lad would go like, yeah, like, that track and that, and I was pretending I hadn't actually heard it, if you know what I mean. I played it to death. I could actually borrow it if I wanted to, and I didn't even like it when I got to hear, the whole album. It done me head really. I didn't really, I'm not into musicals, basically, right? And it was a bit like a musical, wasn't it, right? So I was sitting there thinking, I've heard all the album, I've heard it like as many times as I need to hear it, like, but I'm going to carry on with this, man, and see how far these lads go, like. To see, like, vultures ready for the body, like, you know what I mean, like. And I was like, yeah, it's good, the War of the Worlds album, isn't it? And next thing, one of them would go like, what, have you got yours, have you, Bruce? Yeah. And I was like, yeah. I was just completely lying, right? But is that like, is that the kind, would that have like, would that have got someone into trouble or something? Like, you say you've got a record, you haven't actually got it, right? And he goes like, well, tell you what, let's bring them in, tomorrow, and let's have a look at that, like, let's see each other's War of the Worlds albums, right? So I was like, yeah, I'll bring mine in tomorrow if you want, like. I didn't have it at all, like. Next day, sitting in the classroom, like, they get the bags out, they go like that, like, yeah, look, man. And they got the cover, the gatefold sleeve or whatever, going, there's mine, War of the Worlds, like, and the other lad would get his out the back, go like, I've got mine, like, yeah, and he go, where's yours then, Bruce? And I was like, I forgot it, man, I completely forgot you were bringing them in today. And next thing, they look at each other with, they like the scowl, they go, right, the like the wolves, like, vultures for the slaughter, like, they're like, they nod at each other, they do these symbols to each other, and they go, hey, Bruce hasn't brought us in, eh? But I carried it on for days and days, going like, I'll bring you in tomorrow, man, alright? And on my word, they just wouldn't leave me alone. It was only a record, you know what I mean? They were coming up to me going like, where's your War of the Worlds, Bruce? You know what I mean? And I was like, do you know what? And it just got worse and worse as each day going by. I'm going, oh, you know what? I forgot it again. And I used to watch their eyes, say that's their eyes looking at me like that, and they'd suddenly go, like, they go, like a pair of housewives, like a pair of old women talking to each other over the fence. They'd be like, and I'd be standing there trying not to laugh. I'd be actually trying not to laugh, thinking, I can't believe they make a big deal. It's just a record, right? Which I have actually played it to death, to the point that, and I actually decided after hearing it a few times, nah, I'm not really into it. There's good songs on it. There was good songs on it, but it wasn't my kind of album, you know what I mean? But man, they would not leave me alone, man, for days just because of that, like. And I was thinking, and then it got to the point where, like, we'd be talking about something else, like, months later, and like, what, yeah, like, you mean, like, War of the Worlds? And then they'd look at each other, like, be like, and so they'd get the crucifix out and aiming at me, like, so, like, liars, idolaters. They actually took it seriously, right? I won't say what other lies I told, like, but, like, if anyone's watching this from school and you remember it, like, and you think like, oh man, all them times I was like having it's not that I'm telling lies, is the point that they're making, right? It's the amount of times they came back at me, hacking at me like as if it was something wrong, going, yeah, you told a lie, didn't you, Bruce? Do you know what I mean? I used to buzz off watching them react to it, like, thinking, oh man, have you got nothing better to do? You know, you should be in the SS or something, like, when you're older or something, like, you know what I mean? Well, anyway, that was another, in my opinion, right, just doing that alone. I did it like from when I was very young. I used to say these ridiculous little yarns, man. Oh man, some of them were just funny, you know. I was going to swear then, like, I was going to say the F word, like, funny as but like, I used to play them off against each other, like, watch them all, like, getting, like, turning into witches, basically, cackling, like, going, Bruce said he's got a Liverpool tracksuit there, and he hasn't, has he? I'd be like, what's the problem? No, what if I haven't? What is the problem? It's not like I've banged your missus, right? You know, that's a lie. To me, say like, hey Bruce, was you with my wife last night? And I go, nah, why? And they go, well, I went out for a couple of hours, like, and I heard someone leaving the back door, like, and then when I went to speak to her, she smelled like jellyfish, you know what I mean? And I said, no, I wasn't with your missus, you know what I mean? And you've got like lipstick on your collar and that, like, you know what I mean? That's a lie. You know, when you deny having any interaction with someone else's wife or something else, or you murdered someone, or you buried your wife's body, or you've done someone in or something, like, or you've stolen someone's wallet, and someone says to you, did you see a wallet on that table before, Bruce? Yeah. And I was like, no, and it's in my pocket. You know, that's a lie. You know what I mean, right? But like, telling people you've got something and you haven't, just to see if they like start fishing to get the truth, like, and watching the way they all get together, like, you know, I thought it was quite an ingenious way of doing things myself, like, you know what I mean? I used to once they'd started attacking me, you know, once they'd been like, yeah, like Bruce, like what you said last week, or, you know, once they mention it, like, as if it was like a bitchiness, I don't think you're like really my friend, are you? You just, I don't know, you've been told to hang around with me and keep an eye on me or something, like, I don't know. But to me, that's Aspergers crying out, isn't it? Like, you can't help but like testing people and that, like, I don't know, is anyone out there on the same wavelength with you, you know? Anyway, I've gone over it now, and haven't I? It's like, but anyway, the question is, right, I've got a couple of other things I could talk about, like, in detail. There's something in particular, like, I can't for the life of me. But you get what I'm saying about Guy Martin, man? I'd be in the Isle of Man, right? You know, when I went to the TT and I'd be talking to other people who are TT fans, you know what I mean? Like, seriously, they've got motorbikes, they've gone there on the bikes, they're like proper TT heads, like. And it was funny every time you said, mention Guy Martin to them, they all had this like ritual going. Oh, yeah, you know, if they were Cockneys from London, you go like, oh, what do you think, like, do you think Guy Martin stands a chance this year, and that, like, you go, oh yeah, if he's not busy in his caravan wanking or something, yeah, he probably had a good chance. You know, it was like but you say that to, like, say Guy Martin was part of a Christian church full of zealots, right? It'd be like, sinner, backslider, pornography, lads, mags. Now, I think in an Asperger's mind, you've got a different point of view looking at it, haven't you? You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, he's obviously changed. He's obviously married now and all that, like, but he was shamelessly open about those matters, wasn't he? And why not? I don't see anything wrong with it, but that's another element, I think, of Asperger's, whereby you're not too heavy about sexual issues neither, you know what I mean? You got your morals. I don't think, like, being gay's right and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Men and women, look, man, yeah, that's a vagina and that's a penis, look. Hey, guess what, guys? They're designed for each other. That's what they're for, man. Right, so I don't think gay stuff is right. I think it's going against normality, right? You know what I mean? I could probably get a load of stick for saying that now, you know what I mean, right? That's another speech. right? But do you get what I'm saying? It's like I've actually witnessed these people, like from like religious circles, like vultures. Like, he told a lie. He went to see a stripper. Whatever it is, I don't know. I mean, I was in Amsterdam a few years back, you know, and I didn't actually do anything. I didn't go and see anything sexual, except go through the red light district for paintings, for ideas for paintings. Like, I was like Gustav Klimt. I wanted to see naughty women, not doing anything. I wanted ideas for paintings, which I got, like, you know, right. Now, who'd be the first off the starting block? I'd be like, someone actually said to me, brother, because I was there for 2 weeks, right? Someone said to me, brother, it's a bit long now, isn't it? 2 weeks to go to be in Amsterdam. It's not like a couple of days or a weekend, is it? Like 2 weeks, like. And he was insinuating I was up to something, obviously, right? But I was camping, I was in a tent, right? I wasn't in a luxury hotel or nothing. And I booked the coach for 2 weeks, you see, you know, the return journey. And I didn't want to disturb it. And after a week I got quite bored, right? Because I could do whatever I wanted. I'd get stoned and all that, like, you know. Woo! Woo! Oh no, he's doing drugs. That's another Aspergers thing. I don't think there's anything immoral about, you know, taking cannabis. I'm not like a big deal about it. I don't think it's like a big deal in my life anymore, you know what I mean? But I don't think anyone else should be criminalised for it. That's another Asperger's perspective. What is criminal about me? Say I was sitting on camera, right, guys, and I had a pipe in my hand and I went, and I smoked cannabis in front of the camera, right? What am I doing wrong to you or to anyone else in the world, right? To me, in my state of mind, I don't see it as illegal. Do you understand? It doesn't even seem like a crime to me. And that's another Asperger's thing. You tend to be like, you judge things fairly. Most people, they judge things fairly if they've got that state of mind, from what I can gather, like. You know. But anyway, I think I've bored you enough, haven't I? But later on, I might do a speech about Hitler caught by his mother. Because, like, I don't know, like man's greatest fear, you know. Man's greatest fear, like. But judging by my character, right, folks, or my certain things I've done, which, like, I think were ridiculous, you know. But I'm not stupid. I'm not a spaz. I'm not like a mongoloid. I'm not like, you know, like I need help. I'm like, I need someone to hold a spoon for me or anything like that. I'm actually quite a, you know, self-sufficient person. Quite actually cook for myself, go shopping, do everything myself, washing, all my stuff, right? But I could have Asperger's as well as paranoid psychosis, and I'd had a nervous breakdown, right? So you add it all up, right? Now, my question to the viewers is: do you reckon I've got Asperger's? Do you reckon I'm on the spectrum? Because I've got that knack where you can look at things and memorise them and then draw it as well, like, you know, that photographic memory thing. I can do that, like. I'm not telling lies neither. You know, it's a few years. Someone on YouTube puts a video on going like, you know, like people like roller coaster ride, they can actually remember things and draw pictures, like, you know, that kind of stuff, like that kind of thing. Anyway, I've spoken enough. I don't know. I just thought I'd bring it up, and what I'm trying to get across to people is like me obsessions, right? I wouldn't eat vegetables when I was a kid. Honestly, I started eating sprouts at about, like, I was about 49 or something, and I love them now. Do you know what I mean? I see where I had a state of mind that was just stubbornly blocking things that was stupid, like vegetables, peas, carrots, cabbage, lettuce, right? Remember me mate where I used to go, like, we used to work on a labouring scheme building fences on a housing estate, right? And I had these sandwiches, you know, for lunch. And this was like about 1988, 89 maybe. right? Yeah, about 87, 87, 88. Right, it's a long time ago, right? And he's got butty, he's got sandwiches with like ham and lettuce on them, right? And I've just got my usual chicken roll or something, because I would not touch vegetables to save my life, guys, even though like how good they are for you and everything. Now I've noticed a lot of Aspergers and autistic people, they won't eat vegetables, man. They just got this like a phobia. You know, as in the sprout's gonna kill you or something, man. When you actually get into it and you eat it properly and in the right context with all the food, and you know what I mean, it's, oh man, it's amazing, it tastes incredible. But years I just couldn't do it, like, until like I was like about 4 or 5 years ago I started eating sprouts. I think that's an Asperger's thing. You just completely stubbornly refuse to eat things that are perfectly healthy for you, you know. So I was lacking in vitamins and all kinds of things. I had like I don't want to put any women off, just in case, you know. But that's another Asperger's thing. A lot of them, I've watched people talking about, and they wouldn't eat vegetables when they were younger and things like that. Like, there was nothing wrong with them. Right, but my friend saying to me went, do you want to swap sandwiches? I'll have one of yours and you have one of mine for the change, like. And I went, nah, you've got lettuce on them, like. And he goes, lettuce, you can't even hardly taste it, man. I was like, I don't care, it's green leaves, isn't it? It's green leaves. And he goes, just try it, man. Just try one. I'll do you a swap a sandwich, right? He goes, just try it. I was like, nah. It was like it'd have been easier to talk me to jump off the Eiffel Tower, like, you know what I mean? I was like, nah. Go, just try it. You'll actually like it, honest. So I went, alright, man. And I bit the sandwich with the lettuce in it for the first time. I actually ate it, like, and I was like, oh man, that's lovely, I can't believe it. Because you get like a little high off lettuce, don't you? It's got opium in it, like. I actually got the hit off it, you know, because I wasn't used to it, like. Well, like that. I was like, wow, you're right, it's amazing. Now I can't get enough of it, you know. When I have a sandwich and I put loads of lettuce on, it's like, oh man, it's like delicious in it, you know what I mean? That's another Asperger's thing. Peas, not just green peas, just garden peas. I won't touch them. I was like, now I can't get enough of them. I buy big bags of frozen peas now and like throw them into everything, noodles, curry, everything, you know what I mean? Broccoli, you know, I couldn't eat broccoli until recently. And I love the stuff, you know what I mean? Like, what was wrong with me? When I look back on it, it was just nothing but Asperger's. My mum used to go mad with me, you know, because like, I was lacking in vitamins and things, so I'd only have meat on my plate. I was like a complete carnivore, you know what I mean? I had no herbs in my diet whatsoever, like. But I think that's another Asperger trait, another Asperger's or autism trait. People just don't want to eat vegetables, you know what I mean? And I remember when I was a kid in middle school trying to eat a sprout. And just lying to myself, it's just like, it's like a motor reaction, like a convulsion, and it's not even real. You pretend, you go, bleh, bleh, and you don't even like, you haven't even ate the thing, you haven't even tasted it. You just got this thing about like, that's Asperger's, man, you know what I mean? All the other kids go like, looking at you going like, eating the sprout, looking at you as if to say, is he a spaz or something? Or is he a mongoloid or something like? He's just a sprout. But you know, years later, like, I got into them, like, that's another sign, like, in my opinion, right? Another thing is, right, music. I don't like doing theory. I don't like music theory. You know, when I was in school and tried to teach me music theory, right? Now, I'm sure some of you might have seen some of my music, some of the stuff I've written and stuff, right? I do it all by ear, you know what I mean? I learn by ear and that, right? But even when I was in school, you know, we have a recorder, what they call a recorder, and they write the little dots down. It's like London, it's mad, London singing, London's burning, and on the screen there is a thing about the palace fire, you know. I'm not like, that's just synchronicity, that, like, you know what I mean? I don't well, the Queen and the fire. Is that sick coincidence or what, like? But you know that little tune, you go, Do 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 do, London's burning, fetch the engine. Now when I was in school, man, honestly, like in the same way I couldn't get into fractions and percentages or whatever, certain mathematic things, no matter how hard that teacher tried, man, look Bruce, look, you just go like, there's your dots there, that's like C, that's E, that's, and I was like, no, I want to do it my own way. I want to be able to make tunes up and no one knows what I'm doing unless I tell them. Do you know what I mean? Because when you write your own song and you don't write it down, there's no tablature and no musical notation. The only way they're going to work it out is if they're really good at transcribing, or you actually show them everything note by note. Do you know what I mean? Or you're in a room with them and you say, you put your finger there, you put that note there. That's another, to me, that's another sign of Aspergers. I've got no interest in theory whatsoever. Like, my brother's on my case about it because he's into it. And he thinks I should need it, like when even though I'm just into rock music, you know. I wanted to play the drums when I was a kid. That's like, you know, you don't need music for it, do you? You get like rudiments and things, but you don't necessarily need to go, you know, up and down with the musical notes. So that's another little thing. I refuse to accept music theory. I respect other people, you know, certain musicians who are clever, like, you know, Trevor Rabin, Steve Morse, you know, that's two of them in mind who I've listened to who are like really theoretical players, you know. They know the theory and they're amazing players, like. But I just no interest whatsoever. Even if someone paid and said like, we'll send you to a musical college, Bruce, and pay for a degree and that, I go like, I don't want to go. I mean, I do it like the way it's in my head, you know what I mean? I do it in my head and then I make it up on the instruments. So that's another one, like. Another little Asperger's trait, I think. I'm totally self-taught in art. I haven't got a single degree. I haven't got an O-level, right? I haven't got even a GCSE or a CSE. I left school without any qualifications. You know why? Because I didn't want them. I used to hate doing homework. I couldn't revise. And I was good in the classroom. I was good with the lessons. I did my work and all that, but it got to me like thinking like, when I go home, I'm not doing homework, do you understand? You know, now, to prove that I'm not stupid, there's a couple of me like, no, after I left school and I worked out like, hey, I'm enjoying this, I'll try and get a qualification. You know, when you just, because you decide for yourself, no one's pushing you, right? You know, here's my highest, all these certificates and courses I've done here, man, right? But here's my highest one there, look. Like, I don't know if you can read it, but it's a diploma. Where does it say? Level 2 diploma. See, can you read that? Level 2 diploma in IT, you know, in networking, computers and stuff. You know, diploma. I actually got a diploma. That's the last course I've done, right? Where I wanted it, you see, I wanted to just pass the test to prove I could do it, you know what I mean? Right. City and Guilds, there's look. City and Guilds. Diploma. I didn't even want to do it, you know what I mean? I'm not even into it, I'm not even into computers anymore. Right. RSAs, you know, typing and word processing, RSAs. I did them years ago before I had my breakdown. Right, so I've been in college circumstances, you know, where I'm in it, and I've actually put my mind to it and gone, no, I'll behave myself and I'll do the work and I'll revise. And I find it dead easy, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, if I get into something and I want to do it, like. Now that's another Asperger trait, isn't it? If as long as you want to do it, you know, you can actually do it. Like, I can put my mind at anything. If I wanted to drive, if I wanted to fly, if I went over to Liverpool and paid for a flying lesson, you know what I mean, fly a plane for the day, I'd be like buzzing off it, man, go whoa. But I've got no interest. Do you know what I mean? I'm not that kind of person. I've never wanted to fly a helicopter. I've never wanted to drive it I wanted to own a sports car if I ever got rich, you know. I always used to say to myself, I might get rich because people spot your music or whatever. And I always used to want to own like a really nice sports car, like, but not drive it. I wanted to sit in it and play records. you know, put the cassette deck on or the CD player on and just sit there like that going, wow, I'm sitting in a Ferrari here, man, listening to music, man, this is amazing. I've got no interest in driving or engines or speed or anything like that, like. I've never had that fascination, like. I was going to get a motorcycle when I was a teenager, but my mum stopped me because a gypsy told her I was going to kill myself. You know what I mean? That's why I didn't. I was 16, I was ready for it, ready to get my motorcycle. You know, typical teenager mad. And my mum stopped it, like, because a gypsy said to her, your son's thinking of getting a motorcycle, isn't he? And she went, yeah, he is, actually. She went, don't let him get it, he's going to kill himself. And that was it, like. She was like, right, I'm not letting you get that motorbike now, you know what I mean? I was like, oh man, just because of what a gypsy said, do you know what I mean? So that ruined my motorcycle dreams, right, you know what I mean? I feel like I've been wrapped up in cotton wool, you know what I'm saying? It does me head. Just let me die. If I want to die. That's another Aspergers thing. Not thinking about security, you know what I mean? You don't actually, you sort of do things that you can kind of risk yourself, like, but you know, you're not really thinking right. I don't know. Well, look at Guy Martin, right? He's full-blown Aspie, isn't he? He's full-blown Aspie, right? To be able to just ride around that track, mate. He's had some serious accidents, hasn't he? The guy. He's come close to death, hasn't he? You know what I mean, right? And somehow he's just managed. He's got like something's on his side, mate. You know what I mean? He's a good fella, isn't he? Do you know what I mean, right? Now I bet you, as he's got older, he's thought about things in hindsight. For what am I doing? What was I doing riding around on a superbike? Because he's more into bicycles, isn't he? He's more into actual mountain bikes and things. So that's another aspect, you know, like, it's as though he wasn't really aware of what he was doing, hurtling around the track at nearly 200 miles an hour, you know what I mean, in my opinion. I don't know, I think he regrets doing it, like, or he's not, he's having second thoughts about it, like, but that's like something I'd do, like, I'd go mad first, do it all first, and then worry about it later, you know what I mean, think, oh my word, what was I thinking? What was I thinking, writing Liverpool Football Club on a wall and big black gem markers, like, so the teacher could read it, like. Alright, I'm getting off anyway, it's like 1.5 hours. I've waffled and bored yous and this, I mean, no graphics, no pictures, just this horrible, ugly head to look at all the time, like. It's one good thing about my speeches, you can just turn the sound on, you don't have to look at the screen, do you, because I'm not showing anything, like, you can actually, you could just stick it on your speakers, can't you, and just listen, like, I reckon, anyway. If blind people are watching, you don't mind, do you, listening, like, if blind people are watching, and if any deaf people are listening, like, oh man, there's no subtitles. I've got to think about that one. Like, I can't. It's too complicated for me. You know, the thought of triggering the subtitles. I don't know if they work actually automatically. Like, I don't know, to be honest. Like, enable subtitles. I'm sorry about that, folks. I used to put my lyrics up for the deaf people. You know, on my songs. You know, when I put lyrics up, it's so deaf people can read me words and get the subliminals right. And the sonics, obviously, blind people can hear it. Do you understand? I think of the deaf and the blind when I do my work, you know. But doing these speeches and stuff, I don't know where to start, like, you know. If people want to put subtitles up for them, if you can understand what I'm saying, like. Alright, anyway, I'm getting off. It's sitting at 1.5 hours. But there's my question. Am I Asperger's, guys? If any of you's watching, you're experts on these things. If you check out my character in my older videos and other things that I'm talking about, the way I'm very observant, I am extremely observant, guys, you know what I mean? I'd be like, you know, I've got like brilliant observation skills, like, I'm quite like, but I like to be, I'm quite modest, you know what I mean? I don't want people to know. I didn't want to be a rock star because I hated the idea of being mobbed in the streets or being famous. Do you know what I mean? I hated the idea of being famous, right? And I used to lie about wanting to get famous to my girlfriends, because, like, to make them think that I was going to be like a star and get them. I didn't tell them I didn't want to be famous, you know what I mean? all the time that I was in relationships and that. Like, I was like, sort of like, it was a bit like one of them lies, you know what I mean? It'd be like, yeah, if I get a record deal and that, like, you know, and then, you know, any bird wants a man to be rich, don't they? Like Sharon Osbourne and Ozzy or something, like, just sponge you dry, like. But that would have done my head, and like, you know what I mean? That's another subject, isn't it? Well, I used to lie about that. I used to actually lie to my ex-girlfriends that I was going to try and get famous. Because really all that matters to me is the art form, you know, just the creativity and the producing something, like, and someone else says, if two people go, I like that song, Bruce, that's it, man, I'm happy. You know what I mean? Or that picture, or that painting, or whatever, like, you know, that poem, that, I don't know. You know, trying to make yourself horrible on purpose, wear trampy clothes and everything, like, so they don't look at you, like, you know what I mean, so they get rid of you, they get another boyfriend, you know what I mean? It's like, have you ever tried getting rid of a girlfriend? Have you ever tried getting rid of a girlfriend and you don't want them to know you're trying to get rid of them? Because you don't want to hurt the feelings, or you don't want them to get suicidal or nothing, like, but you just want to be on your own again. You want to sleep with your socks on, like. Have you ever been through that, guys, where you kind of like, and you're hoping your girlfriend goes off you on purpose and goes for someone else, or even has an affair behind your back, and she's like, yeah, well, you know, and they don't know you can't wait to get rid of them, like, because you don't want to hurt the feelings. It's not that you don't like them anymore. You're just sick of trying to please people, you know what I mean? Thinking, why should I keep up appearances when I want to just, like, sleep with my socks on and that, like? I don't know. That was going to be a song of mine, sleeping with my socks on. Anyway, I'll get off. 1.5 hours of boring conversation. I should do a chat thing, shouldn't I? I should do live thingies, you know, but this is useful, this gadget, because I can just record straight on it and just with the webcam thingy, just do it, like, and upload it. Alright, it'll take me about 3 days to upload this. And ask me question, have I got asked, does any of you watch this? Have any of you managed to watch all of it, like? Be honest, right? Do I act like a man that's either got Aspergers or is on the autistic spectrum, right? I think I have. I think I honestly have, and I've always had it all my life, right? A doctor laughed it off. I don't know when to pursue it, like, and to get verified, you know. I don't know what it's going to do for me. It doesn't really make a difference after all. 55, it's going to be a bit late, isn't it? Like, but it needs to be acknowledged, doesn't it, you know. But it's crazy how many people on YouTube, how can it be possible? All of us, loads of us, all finding out we've got some kind of mental condition we didn't know existed. It's wacky, isn't it, man? Alright, I'm getting off. Thanks for watching. And yeah, some more speeches coming up soon. Not as many beer reviews because I need to lose some weight for me world tour, the street tour, number 1 on a dog, live in the streets. I don't know, it's another Asperger thing. I love the idea of doing that, like, I can go anywhere with batteries and that, like, no tour buses, no managers, no agents, no record deals, no contracts. I can just take my amplifier and my guitar anywhere and just play in the street, you know what I mean? That's another little, wow, it's exciting to me, like, this summer coming up, like, if I'm still alive. If I don't drink myself into a stupor, like. Anyway, I'm getting off. Thanks for watching, folks. Keep an eye out. I might be selling some t-shirts soon, number 1 on a dog t-shirts and that, or stickers. I've got to do a DVD of me, the entire live set, playing in, you know, I've got to go to a rehearsal room, so I've got no volume level worries, right? And I'm going to record on camera an entire set You know, no frills, no special effects and all, just me standing singing the songs with a bit of clarity and a bit of volume, right? And then I'll make a DVD that I can sell to people in the street instead of a record, right? So that's my next goal, guys, is to the reason them videos are on my channel with all them cover versions is just see if people like it, you know, and see if people think, yeah, I'll come and see you play in the street, Bruce, you know. Feel sorry for you and that, like, throw 2 pence in your cap and that, like. 2 pence. Alright, I'm getting off. Thanks for watching. Have I got Aspergers? What's your opinion? Please put it down below. Don't be afraid to say yes. And if you want to know more about Hitler caught by his mother, in brackets, man's greatest fear, I'll tell you all about it, like. Another art project. Attila the Hun caught by his mother. Who else can I think of? Charles Manson caught by his mother. Genghis Khan caught by his mother. Do you understand where I'm coming from there? The limited edition series of paintings I was going to do. And some people were offended by the Hitler one. They got offended, like, and I was like, I'm trying to actually be a hilarious artist, you know what I mean? And then people will take me seriously, but that's another Aspie thing, isn't it? You know, where you think things are controversial and they're not really. I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. Alright, I'm getting off for the last time. Thanks for watching. I'll be uploading the video straight away. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for some more exciting Asperger antics. Goodbye. Sayonara. Cheerio. Ta-da. Thanks for watching. Comments below. See you later.